Hello there, welcome back to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 222. And this time out, we're going to take a closer look at TTBX, which stands for Time Travel Baseball. There's a couple words you could use for the X: extra, expanded, extreme. I like using the word expanded because to me, it's a collection of homebrewed expansions that add some more narrative to the game and actually modify the mechanics a bit. So in this game, we're going to replay opening day between the Phillies and the Mets in 1975. I'm using the cards that I received from Daniel Forcier when I purchased the package. These cards still follow the basic time travel baseball mechanics with the doubles and the numbers, reading the numbers based on the die roll. But they do have some modifications for these expanded rules or these homebrew rules. So as we go along, I'll take a closer look at things. And I don't know how many innings we'll get in because I am going to stop here and there to talk about some stuff. But we'll look at the Phillies starting lineup. This was on opening day, April 8th. It was a Tuesday, 1975. And it was at Shea Stadium. So leading off for the Phillies at second base is Dave Cash, batting second. Shortstop Larry Boa, batting third. First base, Willie Montañez. Batting fourth in left field, the Bull, Greg Luzinski. Batting fifth, third baseman Mike Schmidt. Batting sixth, Mike Anderson, he's playing right field. Batting seventh, Bob Boone, he's behind the plate. Batting eighth is Alan Bannister, he's in center field. And batting ninth is Steve Carlton. In 1975, he was 15-14 with a 3.56 ERA, 255.1 innings pitched. He is a normal hitting pitcher, so he'll get that card inserted into the lineup for him when he comes to bat. Now for the home team, 1975 New York Mets. Leading off and playing left field is Gene Kleins. Batting second baseman Felix Mion. Batting third, John Milner, he's at first base. Batting fourth, Joe Torre, he's at third. Batting fifth, Dave Kingman, he's in right field. Batting sixth, Jerry Grote, he's the catcher. Batting seventh is Del Unser, just fresh over from a trade with the Phillies. So he's playing against his former club in this opening day. If I'm not mistaken, it was Del Unser and John Stearns for Tug McGraw. There might have been some other players and other considerations, but I definitely know that was part of the trade. Okay, batting eighth is shortstop Bud Harrelson, and batting ninth and on the mound is Tom Seaver. In 1975, he was 22-9, 280.1 innings pitched, a 2.38 ERA, and I believe he won his third Cy Young that year. Okay, and he is a tough pitcher. I'll talk about that in a moment. He is also a normal, as far as pitchers go, hitting pitcher. So we'll look at Seaver's card and we'll talk a little bit about that. So him being a tough pitcher, what that means is whenever there are runners on base, all the players on defense get rated a star. When there's runners on base, they carry their normal rating value when the bases are empty, but he gets a little bit of a pickup when there is runners on base. Okay, and this would cancel the home team pitcher with a tough rating would cancel the visitor's tough rating, but Steve Carlton does not have that, so it won't come into play. So something else we'll look at while we're here. We'll look at the pitcher fatigue. Now, if you go back to the original time travel baseball, the way they handled pitcher fatigue was with the rule of fives. When the pitcher faces the leadoff hitter for the fifth time, when he gives up his fifth run, or when he gives up 5 base runners in an inning, he is automatically fatigued, and at that point, all die rolls come off the hitter's card. Well, TTBX kind of adds a nice touch to this, so they changed it a little bit. When a pitcher gives up 5 runs, he's still going to have to perform what they call a fatigue check. But as far as a workhorse pitcher, which Seaver and Carlton both are, in the original game, they weren't affected by fatigue at all. I always thought that was a bit extreme. So with TTBX, we get a nice pitcher fatigue system. So these teams are from 1975, so we would look at the pitcher fatigue chart, and from the 60s to the 90s, that number is a 7. So what that's going to tell you is that when you get to the 7th inning, if that pitcher has not already given up 5 runs and has been performing fatigue checks, when he enters that 7th inning, 60s to the 90s, he'll have to perform a fatigue check. And what that would be is flipping a gamble card. So we'll look at the top gamble card here, and it's red. Okay, so in that case, he would not be fatigued in the 7th inning. And every inning that he continues to pitch, he will have to do this. So let's just say that he drew a green gamble card. Well, what would happen at that point? Seaver is an A pitcher, as you can see here in the red block. You would replace his pitching card with a grade A pitcher fatigue card. And each inning, or if he gives up 5 runs, he would have to do another fatigue check, but each inning he would have to perform another fatigue check going on. If he would fail one in the 8th, he would switch from grade A to grade B, and so on. Okay, so that's a nice feature. Puts a little bit more of a wrinkle in pitcher fatigue. So that's one of the things that TTBX adds to the pitcher fatigue system. Okay, now the careless and alert. Well, the way we handle this, there's some extra steps. TTBX calls for 4 steps. You total up the defensive ratings and any stars that are on a team's lineup for exceptional fielders. So for the Phillies, we got 3, 2, that's 5, 8, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20 for Schmidt's star, and 21 for Dave's Cash star. So I'll just write this here for now. All right, so for the Mets, we have 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. So the Mets have 16. However, there are 3 other things we look at. One of them is a winning streak. So if a team is on a 2-game winning streak, they would get 2 more points added to their fielding points. That's not the case here because it's opening day. And then the next thing we look at, and I got to look back in the rules a moment, is the ballpark modifier card. So we got to go to the Mets here and get their ballpark card. And as you can see, that's a 6. So they're going to get 6 added to their defensive fielding number. And the last thing, so let's write that down. So 6, that takes the Mets to 25. And the last thing you would do is you would use this win percentage cards. Every time you buy a team from a certain year, you're going to get a win percentage card for that season. Okay, so we look at the Mets at home. They have a 52% winning percentage. And the Phillies away have a 43% winning percentage. So the difference is 9. So then you would go to this card and look under the difference, 6 to 10. It's a modifier of 2. So now they go to 27. Okay, so that's it for as far as calculating defensive points. That's it. So the Phillies end up with 21. and the Mets with 27. That makes the Phillies careless and the Mets alert. Now that can change if players change, during the game. If there's a pinch hitter or a pitching change, that could change. All right. So let's get to the top of the first inning. I use red and green dye. Red to represent the pitcher, green to represent the batter. And I do that because of the Downy cards having being green when they have a batter in the background picture. All right, so Dave Cash comes up to bat to start this one off. And we roll a 6-4. That's a 10 coming off the batter's card, and that's a short single with a question mark. Now, the question mark, you have to look at the handedness of the batter and the pitcher. They're both right-handed, so that's a strikeout. So Seaver gets Dave Cash to strike out. Oh, and another thing, I'm using the old school time travel score sheet. It's copyrighted 1980. Probably not going to use it the way they want you to, but I thought I'd break it out, just for a little extra nostalgia. Okay, batting second for the Phillies is Larry Boa. There's one out here in the top of the first. And that is a 5 coming from the pitcher's card, and it's a hard ground out. And Boa's batting from the left side here. And that's a hard ground out to first base. So that would be Milner. He's going to take that unassisted. So there's 2 outs here in the top of the first. And that brings up Willie Montañez, first baseman for the Phillies. Pitch from Seaver. That's a 6 coming off the batter's card. It's a hard ground out. Excuse me, cards are sticking together. That's a hard ground out to first base again. So Milner takes that one unassisted as well. And the Phillies go 1, 2, 3. So no runs, no hits, no one left on. We got a half inning in the books. It's the Phillies nothing and the Mets coming to bat. And there was something else I wanted to mention. Maybe it'll come to me, but right now it's avoiding me. All right, so we go to the bottom of the first. And it'll be Steve Carlton taking the mound. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. On this day in April of '75, opening day, Carlton and Seaver both went the distance. It was a pitcher's duel, tied 1-1, and into the bottom of the ninth, and Joe Torre wins it for the Mets with a walk-off single to left field, scoring Felix Mion from second, and they get the 2-1 win. So I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so leading things off for the Mets in the bottom of the first is Gene Kleins. It's the pitch from lefty. That's a 6 coming off the batter's card. It's a sharp ground out to second base. So that's a 4-3 put out. That'll be Cash to Montañez, and there's one away here in the bottom of the first. That brings up Felix Mion. That's second baseman. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 4 coming off the batter's card. It's a deep fly ball to right field. Anderson makes the catch, and there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on for the Mets here in the bottom of the first. That brings up first baseman John Milner. I'm going to stop again. Something else I wanted to mention. There is a provision in the rules. You see how Milner has a C here? That's a usage number. And there is a chart you can roll on to determine whether or not players are available to eat for each game. So if you're doing like a season playthrough, instead of having to look at how many games that player played during the season, you can just roll at the beginning of the game to determine which players are available. Of course, when you're doing as-played lineups, that doesn't apply. But I just thought I'd mention that. So, okay, so 2 outs, bottom of the first, no score. John Milner, pitch from Carlton. It's a 7, and that's a high fly ball to Right field. And Anderson's under that for the third out. And the Mets as well go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. We've played one inning, and we are scoreless. All right, leading off for the Phillies here in the top of the second is left fielder Greg Luzinski. Pitch. That's a 7 coming off Seaver's card, and it's take a gamble. So we'll draw a gamble card. And the bases are empty. It's a walk. Faster daring batter moves to second on a pass ball to next batter. Catcher's having a tough time. Well, Luzinski is certainly not a faster daring runner, but he does draw the walk. And he's on first base with nobody out. Okay, so Luzinski on first. That brings up Mike Schmidt. It's a pitch from Seaver. It's a 6 coming off of Seaver's card. It's a sharp ground out. And that's going to be a sharp ground ball too. Felix Milan, over to Harrelson and to Milner for the 4-6-3 double play. And just like that, the bases are empty and there are 2 outs. That's going to bring up right fielder Mike Anderson. Seaver delivers. It's a 5 coming off of Seaver's card, and that's a strikeout. Number 2 for Seaver. And that's it for the Phillies. No runs. Whoops. No runs, no hits. 1 man left on. We've played 1.5, and we are still scoreless. All right. Leading things off for the Mets in the bottom of the second is third baseman Joe Torre. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 7 coming off of Torre's card, and it's a high fly out to center field. Bannister's under that, makes the catch, and there's 1 away. Next up for the Mets, Dave Kingman. Kingman's in right field here on opening day. Here's the pitch from Carlton. It's an 11 off of Kingman's card. Short single with a question mark. Their handedness is not the same, so that's the first hit for the Mets, the first hit of the game. And Kingman with a single rounds first, but he'll stay there. So he's on first with 1 out. That brings up Jerry Grody. All right. Man on first, 1 out. Pitch from Carlton. That's a 7 coming off of Carlton's card, and it's take a gamble. All right, so a man on first. It's a wild pitch, runner to second. If pitcher has 2 walks or less on card, foul out to catcher. Well, let's see. Carlton's card has 3 walks, so it is a wild pitch. And that allows Kingman to move up to second. So Grody's still at the plate. Man on second with 1 out. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 10 coming off of Grody's card with a question mark. And the handedness is opposite, so it is a short single. And if we look at the runner reaction table for this game, short single says runners advance 1 base. So we'll see where he hit that just for narrative's sake. And that is into short center field. Okay, so now we got runners on first and third with 1 out for the Mets. Phillies are going to keep the defense normal. That brings up former Philly Del Unser. Excuse me. Unser's in center field today. Pitch from lefty. It's a 7 coming off of Carlton's card, and it's Take a Gamble. Lead runners on third. It's a single to center field. Tough pitcher. It's a line out. Carlton's not tough. Tough pitcher, line out. Man on third is out. Man on first is out. Triple play. Okay. So it is a single. And runner on first base advances to second. According to runner reaction board, all other runners score. So 3 hits in a row for the Mets. Grody holds up at second, and Kingman scores, and it's 1-0. Still only 1 out. And Bud Harrelson comes to the plate. Now, talking about the workhorse rating again. Like I said, in the original, the classic and the original, workhorse pitcher could just pitch till whenever, in the 15th inning. You know, there was no fatigue. TTBX utilizes the workhorse rating as his availability for his next start. He can pitch on 3 days rest, I believe. All right, so anyways, first and second with 1 out. Shortstop Bud Harrelson. We got a doubles, so we do a gamble card here to determine what card we're going to look at. And it's green, so we're going to look at Harrelson's card, and a 5-5 is a slow ground out. Now, the Phillies are playing the defense normal, and on a slow ground out, runners advance 1 base if forced. Okay, so nobody's forced. So let's see where that ball went to. Slow ground out. Runners advance 1 base if forced. Well, they're going to have to move. So I guess the only play is at first base. Harrelson's batting from the right side, so it's a ground ball to third. And Schmidt's only play is to go to Montañez at first for the 5-3 put out. Runners do advance, and there are 2 away. All right, that's going to bring up Tom Seaver. Seaver is a normal hitting pitcher. He is a fine bunter, and that's listed here on the card in the blue box FB. Okay, that's just for reference. We're not bunting here. So it's second and third with 2 outs. Carlton to Seaver. We get a 5 off of the pitcher's card, and that's a strikeout. So Seaver strikes out to end the inning. That's Carlton's first strikeout. And we have 1 run. 1 run on 1, 2, 3 hits. 2 men left on base. We've played 2 innings. And it's the Mets 1, Phillies nothing. All right, so we go to top of the third. Seaver comes back out. He's going to face Phillies catcher Bob Boone. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 10 coming off of Seaver's card. It's a pressure play. So a pressure play. Where is that on the charts? Let's see. I should know this already. Oh, okay. Game special results. That's on this chart here. Pressure play against an alert team, which are the Mets. We pick a talent card. Against a careless team, we pick an error card. So we're going to pick a gamble card until we see a green one. Well, that's an error card. And okay, so no one on base. It's a high fly out to left field. If the left fielder is a 0, he somehow lets the ball drop in for a double. So who's in left field for the Mets? It's Kleins, and he's a 3. So it's a fly out to left field for Bob Boone. And there's 1 away. That brings up Alan Bannister. I'm not really familiar with this guy. I know the name, but don't really remember him with the Phillies. All right, here's the pitch from Seaver to Anderson. It's a 4 coming off of Seaver's card, and it's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Tom. Terrific. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. And lefty comes to the plate. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 4 coming off of Seaver's card, and that's another strikeout. Strikeout number 4 ends the top of the 3rd. Phillies, no runs, no hits, no one left on. After 2.5, it's the Mets 1, and the Phillies nothing. All right, Carlton. Back to the top of the order for the Mets. Gene Klein's left fielder. He's 0 for 1. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 7 off of Klein's card, and it's a high fly out to center field. And Anderson's under that, and he makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd. It brings up Felix Mian. Mian's 0 for 1. Pitch. It's a 3 coming off of Carlton's card. It's a slow ground ball. Back to Carlton. He jogs over towards first base. Tosses to Willie Montañez for the 1-3 put out. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. Brings up first baseman John Milner. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 9 coming off of Milner's card, and it's a sharp ground ball to Larry Boa over to Montañez. 6-3 put out, and the Mets go 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. We've played 3, and the Mets lead 1-0. Now we go to the top of the 4th. Back to the top of the order for the Phillies. And it's Dave Cash. Cash struck out his first time up. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 3 coming off of Cash's card. It's a walk. So we're going to get to see a walk with a plus sign. So we're going to get to see the stealing mechanism come into play here. So he draws the walk, and he goes down to first base. So now we have the plus sign, so that means he's going to steal. So let me get the steal chart here. All right, so Cash has a steal rating of 3. We got to look at Grody's arm rating. Let's see where Grody is. I believe it's a 3. Is that his throw rating? That's his arm rating. So that they cancel out. All right, so we're just going to roll on the steal chart here. So Cash with a +3, Grody with a -3, or however you want to look at it. They cancel each other out. And we're just going to roll, and we get a 3-3. Runner is throwing out, check for injury. Well, I'm not doing any injuries in this demo. So Grody fires down to second base, and Harrelson applies the tag. And Dave Cash is caught stealing for the first out. That brings up Larry Boa. Nobody on, 1 out. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 4 off of Seaver's card, and that's another strikeout. Number 5 for Tom, and there are 2 away. First baseman Willie Montañez. He is 0 for 1. That's a 5 coming off of Seaver's card, and that's another strikeout. Number 6 for Tom. He is cruising other than that walk. And that's it for the Phillies. No runs, no hits, no one left on. Played 3.5, and the Mets lead 1-0. Steve Carlton's out here for the 4th. Oh, so just keep in mind, we don't start doing fatigue checks till we get to the 7th inning for pitchers from the 60s to the 90s. All right, so these two guys are probably going to be out there for a while. All right, Joe Torre leads things off for the Mets here in the bottom of the 4th, and he's 0 for 1. Pitch from Carlton, it's double ones. This could be trouble. And it's going to come from Torre's card, and it's a triple with an exclamation point. Now, let's check this out. Exclamation point is a wrap. Pick a gamble card. It's the batter's image. That triple turns into a home run. If it's a pitcher image, it's a triple. So not great either way. And it's a pitcher's image, so it is a triple. Off the top of the wall, rolls away from Greg Luzinski. Torre rounds second and heads to third, sliding in safe. Whoops, I'm putting that in the wrong place. 4th inning. That's a triple. And Torre's on third. Nobody out. Dave Kingman. Phillies keeping the defense back. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 4 coming off of Carlton's card, and it's a walk. So now there are runners on the corners with 1 out. Or excuse me, nobody out. Brings up Jerry Grody. Pitch from Carlton. That's a 9 coming off of Grody's card. It's a chopped ground out. If runner is on first, he is forced out at second. Batter is safe. And other runners advance around 1 base. So it's going to be a fielder's choice that allows Torre to score. So it's a fielder's choice. So Grody reaches. Kingman is out at second. And Joe Torre scores. And it's 2-0. So we got a man on first with 1 out for Del Unser, center fielder. And Unser is 1 for 1. He singled his first time up. Pitch, it's a 7 coming off of Unser's card, and it's a high fly ball. To left field. And Greg Luzinski's under that. For out number 2. Since the Phillies are careless, if there would have been a runner on third base, he would have scored, but that's not the case here. All right, so that's out number 2. Man on first. Shortstop Bud Harrelson. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 3 coming off of Carlton's card, and it's a slow ground ball. Back to Carlton. Over to Montañez for out number 3. But the Mets do pick up another run. 1 run on 1 hit. 1 man left. And after 4, it's the Mets 2, Phillies nothing. All right, Tom Seaver. First batter he's going to face is left fielder Greg Luzinski. Pitch from Seaver. It's an 8 off of Seaver's card, and it's a chop ground ball. To second baseman Felix Milan. And Milan over to John Milner for the 4-3 put out. And there's 1 away. Next up, Mike Schmidt, third base. Schmidt hit into a double play his first time up. Here's the pitch. It's a 7 coming off of Seaver's card. And it's take a gamble. Nobody on base. Single line pass short. And if the shortstop is a 3, which Harrelson is not, he's a 0. It would have been a line out. But that one goes into left field, and the Phillies have their first hit, I believe. Schmidt singles. So man on first, 1 out. Brings up Mike Anderson. Pitch from Seaver. It's double fours. It's coming from Anderson's card, and it's a strikeout. We don't utilize the dot. That's only in time travel master games, I believe. But Seaver gets strikeout number 7. There are 2 away. So man on first with 2 outs, and Bob Boone. Boone is 0 for 1. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 5 coming off of Boone's card, and that's a hit. And runner on first advance to second. All other runners score, so another base hit for the Phillies. And Schmidt moves up to second. That ball was hit to center field. So Schmidt holds up. All right, so it's first and second with 2 outs for the Phillies. And Alan Bannister comes to the plate. He's in right field. He struck out his first time up. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 9 coming off of Seaver's card. It's a hard ground out to second baseman Felix Mion. Over to John Milner for the 4-3 put out to end the inning. So the Phillies do get a few runners on base. You got no runs on 2 hits, 2 men left. And after 4.5, it's the Mets 2 and the Phillies nothing. All right. Okay. Steve Carlton is going to face Tom Seaver here. Bottom of the 5th, Mets leading 2-0. Pitch, and it's double sixes. And it's coming from Seaver's card, and it is a base hit. Short single into center field. And Tom gets a base hit. So Seaver's on first, nobody out. Back to the top of the order, and Gene Kleins, who's 0 for 2. Pitch from Carlton. Doubles again. It's coming off of Klein's card. It's an infield pop-up. And that is to second baseman Dave Cash. And there's 1 out. Seaver, of course, holds it first. Brings up second baseman Felix Mion. Pitch from Carlton. It's an 8 off of Mion's card. It's a chop ground out. And that looks like it's going to be a fielder's choice. They're going to get Seaver at second base on the force. And Mion reaches on the fielder's choice. So there's a man on first with 2 away. And first baseman John Milner. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 4 coming off of Carlton's card. And that's low and outside. Ball 4. So Milner walks. And Mion moves up to second. So it's first and second with 2 outs. Third baseman Joe Torre. Pitch from lefty. It's a 9 coming off of Carlton's card. It's a short single. And all runners advance 1 base. So that single went into shallow center field. Another hit for the Mets. Torre loads them up. For big bad Dave Kingman. Kingman would hit 36 home runs in 1975. Carlton's hoping this isn't one of those times. Here's the pitch. Doubles coming off of Carlton's card, and it's a sharp ground out. Ground ball 2. Shortstop Larry Boa over to Montañez. And Carlton gets out of the jam. So, no runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. And after 5, it's the Mets 2 and the Phillies nothing. Tom Seaver's going to face Carlton here. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 5 off of Carlton's card. And it is a high fly ball to left field. And Gene Clines is under that. Makes the catch. And there's out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. Back to the top of the order, Dave Cash. Cash is 0 for 1 with a walk. Here's the pitch. It's a 10 coming off of Seaver's card. It's a pressure play. And we're going to pick a talent card, and here we go. Pop fly single, center field. If the center fielder is a 3, he gets a great jump. And that's Del Unser. He is a 3. And makes what looks like an easy catch. So Del Unser robs his former teammate Dave Cash of a base hit for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on, and that brings up Larry Boa. Pitch from Seaver is double 3s. It's coming from the Boa's card, and it's going to be a 2-out walk. So Boa reaches first base with 2 outs, and Willie Montañez, the first baseman, comes to the plate. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 9 coming off of Seaver's card. It's a hard ground out. Back to Seaver. Yep, back to Seaver. Over to Milner for the 1-3 inning-ending putout. And that's it for the Phillies. No runs. No hits. 1 man left on base. Played 5.5, and it's the Mets 2 and the Phillies nothing. Lefties out here for the bottom of the 6th. Jerry Grote's the first batter for the Mets. Pitch. 9 coming off of Grote's card. It's a ground ball. Choppy 1-2. Larry Boa over to Montañez for the first out. There's 1 away. Brings up center fielder Del Unser. Unser is 1 for 2. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 7 coming off of Carlton's card. Let's take a gamble. These cards are really sticking together for me. All right, so nobody on base. Double ricochets off the center field wall. If it's alert defense, which the Phillies are not, so Unser hits one off the center field wall and cruises into second base with a stand-up double. So man on second with 1 out, and Bud Harrelson. Pitch from Carlton. 5 coming off of Carlton's card, and that's a strikeout. That's strikeout number 2 for lefty. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs with Del Unser down at second. Tom Seaver comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a 7 off of Carlton's card. Let's take a gamble. Runner on second base. Line fly out to left field. Careless. Runner advance 1 base, but it doesn't matter because it's the 3rd out. So it's a line drive hit to Gene Clines, or excuse me, to Greg Luzinski. And that's the 3rd out. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. After 6, it's the Mets 2 and the Phillies nothing. Okay, so I wanted to get to this, so we'll see what happens. So the 60s to 90s. That's when we start checking for fatigue. So I'm going to flip over a gamble card. If it's red, Seaver's okay. If it's green, he's going to get a grade A fatigue card. It's red, so Seaver's okay for the top of the 7th at least. All right, leading things off for the Phillies is Greg Luzinski. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 9 coming off of Seaver's card. It's a hard ground ball to third base, and that's going to be Joe Torre to Milner. And Luzinski is retired on the 5-3 put out. All right. So there's one away. One out. And it brings up Mike Schmidt. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 9 off of Schmidt's card. It's another sharp ground ball. This one goes to shortstop Bud Harrelson over to Milner for a 6-3 put out. And there are 2 away. Mike Anderson, right fielder. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 6 coming off of, and that's a strikeout number 3. Or out number 3, strikeout number 8 for Tom Terrific. And the Phillies go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. As we go to stretch them, it's the Mets 2, Phillies nothing. All right, we'll do the fatigue check for Carlton after I get a quick drink here. Okay, same thing. Fatigue inning is the 7th. Batters from the 60s to the 90s. Gonna flip over this gamble card, and Carlton's good because it's red. All right, so no fatigue for Carlton here in the bottom of the 7th. So leading things off, be the top of the order, Gene Klein's left fielder. Pitch from Carlton. It's an 8 off of Carlton's card, and it's a deep fly ball to left field. Luzinski's under that and makes the catch for out number 1. Second baseman Felix Mian. He's 0 for 3. Pitch. Double ones. It's going to come off of Carlton's card, and it is a double with the wrap symbol. Pick a gamble card. Batter image is a home run. And Felix Mian gets a hold of this one, sends it over Bannister's head in center field. And it's now 3-0. How about that? Felix Mian, who had 1 home run in 1975. I guess he got it today. All right, so bases empty, 1 out, John Milner. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 7 coming off of Carlton's card. It's take a gamble. And let's see. Milner's not daring. So it's a double over the center fielder's head. Batter's out at third. Star center fielder turns the hit to a fly out. Well, Bannister's not a star center fielder, but it looks to me is that Milner hits a double and is thrown out trying to take it to third. So there are 2 away. Unless I'm reading that wrong. The daring batter would be safe for a triple. Milner's not daring. It says a double over center fielder's head. Batter is out at third. Okay, so it's the 2nd out. 2 outs, nobody on. Mets lead 3-0. Comes Joe Torre. Pitch from Carlton. It's a 10 coming off of Torre's card. And it's a short single with the question mark. They are not the same handedness. So Torre gets his 3rd hit of the game. And he's on first with 2 outs. Brings up Dave Kingman. Kingman is 1 for 3. Pitch. Oh boy. Double ones. It's coming off of Kingman's card, and it is a deep fly ball to left field over Luzinski's head. It's way up, out of here, gone. It's a home run. And 2 more runs score. And it's now 5-0. So Carlton's going to have to do another, based on the rules of 5, he's going to have to do another fatigue check. And should probably get somebody warming up for the Phillies. Let's see. Going to have... oh, what the heck, Randy Lurch. Randy Lurch is going to warm up for the Phillies. We do a fatigue check for Carlton. And it's a green card, so he is going to get a green pitcher fatigue card until Lurch is ready. Okay, so there is 2 outs. All right, and Kingman just hit that dinger. So now it's Jerry Grody. Base is empty because Kingman cleared them. Pitch. It's a 7 coming off of Grody's card. It's a line fly ball to left field that Greg Luzinski handles easily for the 3rd out. Okay, so the Mets get 3 runs on 4 hits. Nobody left on base. After 7, it's the Mets 5 and the Phillies nothing. All right. Top of the 8th, Seaver's got to do his fatigue check. And he is not fatigued. All right. Leading off for the Phillies is Bob Boone. It's a 7 coming off of Seaver's card. It's Take a Gamble. It's a ground out to third base. Third baseman 0 or 1 waves that ball that hops over his glove into left field for a triple. Well, Torrey's a 3, so that is a 5-3 put out. Torrey to Milner. And there's 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on. Alan Bannister. Let's see. I don't have the rest of the roster available to me right now, so I'm just going to let, just for demo's sake, I'm not going to pinch hit for him. I'm just going to let these players play things out other than the pitchers. All right, so 1 out. Pitch to Bannister is a 5 off of his card. It's a sharp ground ball to Felix Mion over to John Milner. 4-3. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. And we are going to have a pinch hitter here for Lefty because he's done. All right. Randy Lurch will be the pitcher in the bottom of the 8th. Let's see. Jay Johnstone. Philly fan favorite. He's going to pinch hit here. For Steve Carlton. We'll have Johnstone. Pinch hit. And that'll be right here. All right, so there's 2 outs, nobody on. Seaver to Johnstone is a double 5. That's going to come from Seaver's card. And it's a line out to first baseman John Milner for the 3rd out. So the Phillies go 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 8th. No runs, no hits, no one left on. We've played 7.5, and it's the Mets 5, Phillies nothing. All right, so we can get rid of the fatigue card because Randy Lurch is the new pitcher for the Phillies. And the first batter he's going to face is Del Unser. In 1975, Randy Lurch, I guess he didn't pitch all that much. 7 innings. He's going to pitch today, though. 7 innings, no runs, no hits. ERA, or excuse me, no wins, no losses, no saves. ERA of 6.43 at 8 strikeouts in those 7 innings. All right, so he's out here to chew up some innings and get this one over with. All right, so it's Del Unser leading things off. Unser is 2 for 3. There's the pitch. It's a 5 coming off of Lurch's card, and it's a strikeout. Oh, 1 for Lurch here. There's 1 away in the bottom of the 8th. Brings up Bud Harrelson. Pitch from Lurch. It's a 5 off of Harrelson's card, and it's a single hit into right field past Willie Montañez. So Harrelson makes the turn, but he's going to hold it first. 5-run lead. No sense in pushing things. Tom Seaver's going to try to stay in this game and get a complete one out of it. Man on first with 1 out. Pitch from Lurch. It's a 5 off of Seaver's card. And Seaver gets under this one, and he hits a high fly ball to center field, where Bannister makes the catch for out number 2. Harrelson holds it first. We're back to the top of the order. Gene Klein's the left fielder. He's 0 for 4. Here's the pitch from Lurch, and it's going to make Klein's 0 for 5 because he hits a hard ground ball to shortstop Larry Boa over to Willie Montañez. And that's going to do it for the Mets here in the bottom of the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We've completed 8 innings, and it's the Mets 5, Phillies nothing. All right, let's see if Seaver can go to distance. So we got to do a fatigue check for him. And he is fatigued. So I'm going to let him in here and see what happens. We're going to replace his pitching card with the grade A pitcher fatigue card. And it's the top of the order for the Phillies, Dave Cash. Here's the pitch. It's a 7 off of Seaver's card, and it's take a gamble. Pop out to the catcher. Catcher 0 blows an easy put out. Batter gets a single. If the catcher is a 0, well, I don't think Grody's a 3. I mean, he's a good defensive catcher. So it's a pop out to Jerry Grody for out number 1. Here in the top of the 9th. Mets are 2 outs away from sending the opening day fans home happy. Here's Larry Boa. It's a 7 off of Boa's card. He lines 1 into right field. Dave Kingman has a beat on that. That's out number 2. 2 outs, nobody on. Last chance for the Phillies is first baseman Willie Montañez. Here's the pitch. It's an 11 off of Montanez's card, and he hits one into right center field, and it's off the wall. And things aren't over yet for the Phillies because Montañez hits a 2-out double. So he's on second base with 2 outs, and the bull comes up. Pitch from Seaver. It's a 7 off of Seaver's card. It's take a gamble. So we got a runner on second. It's a pop fly double to center field. Runner score, and batter takes third when center fielders throw, handcuffs third baseman. And it's an error on the third baseman. So the Phillies are on the board here. So Luzinski hits the double. Scores Montañez. They're on the board. And reaches third on an E5. All right. So it's now 5-1. Man on third with 2 outs. Mets defense normal. Pitch from Seaver. It's an 11 off of Schmidt's card. They're both right-handed. There's a question mark. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 9 to end the game. The Phillies do put a run on the board. 1 run on 2 hits. 1 man left. And that's going to do it. The Mets win this one 5-1. Some quick totals. The Phillies 1 run on 4 hits. No errors. The Mets 5 runs on 7 hits. They did commit an error. I'm not worried about the left on base. Winning pitcher, of course, is Tom Seaver. He went the distance. Did get a bit fatigued there at the end. But I was glad we got to see the mechanics of this fatigue system. I really like that a lot. Okay, and the loss goes, of course, to Carlton. All right, so there you have it. That's Time Travel Baseball utilizing some of the TTBX homebrew modifications. If you hung out with me tonight, I appreciate it. And I'll see you again in the near future. And until next time, take care.